2, 3 years, I walked millions of you in the path of the Creator, in the path of knowledge to the Creator. Now it's for you to decide, because I can teach you more. I teach you the tricks. It's like sitting on the table with your child and trying to hide a coin from him, and then he cannot see. But at the end of the game, you show how you do it, and you teach him this is how is the pleasure. You didn't see what was right in front of you, and that's how the love of the child and the father establishes. He's showing all the tricks you know that he can repeat and be a pleasure to others. So I have teach you, and I'll keep on teaching the rest of the knowledge of the universe, that in time you will understand something very simple. There is no difference between the children of the atom and the children of the rest of the humanity and the universal council, and by it, the universal community as a whole. So please start the process. See the soul, change the soul, the physicality changes. Some of you will even change the color of your skin, some of you will change the color of your hair, some of you will change in totality of physicality, and then you haven't become what you call mutated, but you are in true shape of what you want to be with the soul, but the physicality has taken a different shape because the information condition of the environment has played the Chinese whisper. Then you understand, if you really like to be blonde or black hair, you love long hair, you would love to have 20 legs because you can touch so many people at the same time because you're too physical, and then you will see new creatures, because now the creatures are the state of the emotion of the soul, which dictates what it pleases it, and is only there to give in that position. So you don't become chameleon, you become the representation of the true structure of your soul. Now we have a very big question. Now that you start understanding, some of you use the pads and you saw people's pain disappearing. Now that you make the tools of the soul, what will you see? Would we start seeing those who amongst us are not of our blood, of the hemoglobin of this planet, and we still greet them, love them, care for them, because they still have a soul? And then if you understand this, every entity has its own soul and does not exist, which what we call the principal matter is the soul of the matter. Then you decide how you play the game. You decide how you want to extend the knowledge. I still play the games. You want the generator? I build you a generator. You want the flying machine? I build your flying machine. You want the flying saucer? You want to travel with the strength of your soul, the whole realms of the creation without ever using any craft? Now you understand a very simple thing. The totality is one. And depending on what strength you add to where, there will be the point of your manifestation. I said to you many times, a plasma is very simple. On the same plasma, you carry the information of the GANs of the copper, zinc, hydrogen, and everything else. Extend your horizon. Now, if you understand, you can create the plasma, the magnetic field of any position in the universe, how far further you want to go. So you can create the conditions of the universe within the structure of your soul, and there you shall be. As I said to the Americans on the table of the first peace talks with Iran, we cross your nation many times without you knowing. It means we have the knowledge which you don't have. And now, in a very recent past, we've seen our knowledge has been used by 3 nations and shared by Iran with them, and it's been used in a perfect way. We've seen it shared with Russia. And in recent past, we've seen it shared with the Chinese. And we saw its influence in the time in Syria. So the technology has been well used. And as I said to the Americans, do not make the creator on a blacklist, because when the creator make a blacklist, there shall be no America. I have to be free to teach humanity wherever I want to go, not by a president to be put on a blacklist for him not to be shown his criminality. So, as you select your nation or your leaders, you have to stand what comes to the leaders as you selected the wrong soul. So, my advice to President Obama is very simple. Take me and my foundation off a blacklist, which is not the color of your skin. You are brown, and in truth, the center of the body of the man is clear and transparent. We have to be able to move, to teach, that bring the total humanity out of slavery, or we make a slave out of nation of United States if we have to teach the others. I have been patient and I've taken a lot. Now, standing on the platform of peace, we have to stop those who created wars. And it's very simple. I don't do it. My wish is peace. And you, very simply, will create it. And then we have to see. Then we have to understand. Then we have to bring the change. And in bringing the change, we enter man into universal community. Now, a lot has become clear. Go and find the material which creates laughter and joy in the bandwidth of the strength, and make this planet a happy planet. And then find the material which makes the bandwidth of peace, which means comfort in giving. I explained to you something very, very simple. Can I have my whiteboard, please? I show you a trick. It's for you to understand it and to play it. Stop. You see the copper and zinc. Dr. Klaus, can you bring us the isotopes of copper and isotopes of zinc next to each other on the board, please?
Okay, just a moment.
You understood that. Can I go back to my whiteboard, please? You understood that emotion, to show itself in physicality, has a strength of bandwidth. So your laughter, your joy, your cry, your pain sits somewhere in the isotopes between these. Now you can detect emotion. Now you can detect, you want to make happy planet. This is the bandwidth of happiness across the whole of amino acid. That's where the isotopes comes to play. Then, if you understood this, go back into the level of understanding of the whole structure of the bandwidth of the soul, and then create the soul which is giving, and then create the soul which is there, you as a center to give. You'll find out very soon you reach the state of the creation of the universe. Have you managed to get it, Dr. Klaus?
Yes, I'm just sharing my screen.
Can we share a screen there, please? We have 2 tables, one for the zinc and one for the copper. And then look at their isotopes. Actually, if you go to Wikipedia, at the bottom of each element, isotopes, you have a very good demonstration of it, both for zinc and the copper.
Also, there's a very good website, webelements.com.
Is this okay like this, or shall I go to Wikipedia?
We'll go much detail because this is very narrow.
Okay.
You see, we need the known isotopes. You see it starts on 52 of the copper. If you go to isotopes of the others, don't forget English, Dr. Klaas, please, not the German. So now, if you see the 2 isotopes of both elements, you will see what you need to do. What's the problem? No. We need the isotopes. No. The isotopes of copper and the zinc. We need the 2. And then you will very easily will produce the bandwidth strength. The way you made the tomato. You had the water and you had the taste and the smell of tomato. You remember? Now you can create with the isotopes strength of happy drink. A drink which creates happiness for the world. Because now you touch the soul. If you find the soul and then you put in its interaction in a specific condition the strength between the zinc and copper, which connects the physicality to emotion, which something you see beautiful and you cry with the cry of joy, and you see something horrible and you cry from sadness. Each one has a strength that triggers certain emotion, physicality. You can now, with this knowledge which you gain today, to produce it. And then look at the total isotopes between the zinc and copper. You find the total bandwidth of the human race, emotion with physicality. It's a very large bandwidth. It is a huge bandwidth. This is not the complete. We need a more complete because there are hundreds and hundreds of isotopes on each one. Some has been clearly defined in some papers. Look, go into detail.
Just click on the isotope of the zinc or isotope of the right here.
Arman is expert in this. He made something very recently. Yeah.
There are 2 links in the public chat.
So now you understand how you can go to your intention with look, this is copper. It starts from 52 to 68. I think there is more into this. Can you go further down? Yes. Okay. Now you look. Just stop there, please. Stop. You look here. I'll go. Can I write here? Can you see it? Yeah. You look at here, for example. Pu 72. Okay. Now you look at the zinc 72. This is emotion connected to physicality as a given strength. Is this to your amino acid the strength of happiness? Is this what we are commonly called a happy nation? Start understanding the true structure of the nuclear physics in a plasma, which all of you now understand. You all have become more educated in the world of science than anything else. Can you click on the most stable isotopes of zinc as well, please? Now, bring it up and let's have a look. Now you stop, please. Stop. Can you bring the copper down as well to 52? Go to the top of the copper. Now you see your emotions. Go up, stop. You see only copper, more or less, in 52, 53 is part of your physicality. The rest plays in the emotion, which cell and where. You see you have a zinc 54, you have copper 54. Don't look at the neutron only, look how the neutron position themselves. And then, not yet. Sorry, Ella had a new question, but you have to carry on with this. Then you understand how everything fits in what combination of copper 62, 61 with a zinc 61, 62 will give you sadness or happiness. Is sadness to you when you have to give from yourself, or is it a joy that you have given? If I give a cup of water to somebody who's thirsty, I enjoy, I helped. But if the same person grabs a cup of water from me, which I needed myself, is not. It's the same cup. It's the emotion which creates. So you have to look on the physicality and the emotion side. This will open your eyes to a lot if you understand it. Have a look. Very, 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 very nice. Here. Zinc 61. Copper 61. It tells you on the top, daughter isotopes. So in that bandwidth, you have found the reality. Have a look at copper 68 with the interaction of the zinc. Look at the copper 62. Each patch, each strength is one level of the emotion of the man. Then you can create a planet which touches the emotion. It's very much you go to a supermarket and they give the order of a strawberry, you all want a strawberry. Now you can create the order of peace. And see, I told you, I can create a machine today that no soldier knows why they're holding arms. They just walk off. The beauty of it is, fighting, taking is against the nature of the plasma. So no nation can go into war if you create the right field of satisfaction of an emotion. Now you know where the soul is. You can become the transition part, which is the emotion. The physicality just follows the order of the boss. It's very simple. Very, very simple. It's now the knowledge is on the table. As I said many times before, we had to wait that the knowledge of a man is more or less complete, that we could finish it off with what they have gathered. If we would have tried to explain this 20 years ago, 50 years ago, no one understood. Now you can see it physically. We have the science advanced enough that you can see a large number of people can replicate, so the knowledge should not be lost. And no many people will use the message given to become Satan. In fact, we are scientists of the universe. We understand the totality. So we have to look for those who committed the crime and wore the clothes and the robes of leaders, and with it, they get protection from them. Now you understand why the life of Fabio was sacrificed for freedom of the humanity. Those who thought they've done the job, they freed the man. That was the last crime you ever commit. But we bring you to the pole of justice through your soul. Those who sat, planned, killed so many people, so many scientists and their families for years, transferring into hidden banks, all will be revealed. The souls will tell us where they hidden the bodies of the children they've used. And then we shall see. Those of you who are born and are of the intention of the peaceful, you will prevail because you are the givers. And by giving, you elevate. And by elevating, the difference shall be shown. The physicality will speak. I started this process exactly 12 months ago, knowing soon I'll be where I am now. 12 months ago, we started process of the bringing everything to correctness through Mr. Sterling case. And now we see the rest will follow. When a man is getting drowned, what does he do? He splashes and kicks to get himself above the water. And we saw the kicking and the splashing of the red circle. Now we'll hand over his soul. The process is very simple. These people were born for you to understand how the soul, how the man's of wrong will operate. Because there's no use me telling the story of there was a king and he did this and that. These souls were there to show the present behavior of the man that we can all analyze and see and from it learn to promote the soul of the man. These are not what you think. These are part of the process of the teaching for man to take the next step. This is very, very simple. This is the true understanding of the structure. Now you've seen the soul. I told you this morning, by the end of the teaching today, I changed everything man ever known about it. Because up to now, we taught about physicality, the ganses and the rest. Now you see how you make it, you control it, you divide it. If your intention is to feed the man in China who's in flood and has looking in emotion for a feed because he does not understand the connection between his physicality and the soul, you can feed it from the seats of your house. Out of nowhere, he'll be satisfied, he walks away and he'll find a solution. You don't need to be here. A lot of you have a misunderstanding of we pray and meditate, where I say you give. And then by giving, if that soul is in the condition of wanting to receive, it shall receive. You send very much what's on the table here, and the spectrum, and only can be absorbed if there is a receiver. The members of the Core Cash Foundation, you are listening. You know what I said this morning, and now you may understand the position of your soul irrespective of your physicality. It's time to open the doors as one, that the core as a whole will shine on humanity, the energy and the soul of the energy which it needs for humanity to elevate. I call upon you to do what you've been here for. The same goes with the Universal Council. Those of you who become the member of Universal Council, your position is very clear. You are here to serve humanity in a physical state through the soul, and if you need support, the soul of the core is there for you to support. We will see the change in the human race in a very short time. Start building, start understanding how to make the soul, and then you will understand the strength of it, if it's a giver or a taker, and you will see the physicality of it because the emotion will talk. I've seen this many times. The mouth opens to say, I love you, it says, oh, I hate you. Because you read the emotion. Oh, I didn't mean that. It came out the wrong way. But in fact, it's the emotion showing the true face of itself. So you hear a lot of people opening their mouth, the brain, the physicality, thinking they're talking about I'm a man of peace, but the words will come, I want to kill, these are the people who help me to kill, and these are the people who finance me, and then you know exactly where to get them. It's very, very simple. I made it so easy that no man can abuse the other. But don't forget, you can go back to the teaching, produce gases that in combination, their effect will be a combination of the isotopes, one or the other. So, do we in reality need, or do we in reality give? Because we have no needs. It's okay. Any questions?
There's a question in the chat from Jay, who says, in the earth, the way copper is found in rocks, is the earth in contact with our emotions?
Of course, you're part of it. Your body came from this planet, so you are part of it. And it gives you power. So
we're getting a lot of microphone noise there, Mr. Kesh. I can barely hear you.
yes, okay. You should be okay now. Is it better?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
So yes, you can do, and because you are made of it. It made you from it. This is my body, this is my soul. Your body came from the material side of this planet, and the soul came from the fields of it. It is very interesting if you go back into the knowledge of the different cultures and different part of this planet, how different cultures have different behavior. It's very much the materials they consume from that part of the planet in respect to the planet, which in interaction, very much as you see on the board, they have a different level of zinc isotopes in it. So it creates that kind of emotion and behavior from that nation. When they change position, they still look for the same, and then you find out they change. In a way, we are part of it. In a way, what we take is what in reality we are made of according to our strength in that position. Why some nations are peaceful nations? Why some nations are always at war? As I said, Hitler in 5 years killed 20 million. And we call him the beast of God knows what. But the American blood has killed 20 million in past 30 years, and we don't talk about it. The strength of the murder is the same. I said in one of my talks to the guys from Vatican very recently in so many ways, and I explained it to you in different ways. The blood will run through the steps of the Vatican, not of the human race, not of the man of belief in God, but those who falsified and worked in the name of God. Not a physical blood, but blood as a water of creation of the motion of the emotion, which means the soul has been taken away from it. That nothing can come out of it except what is left as a residual of wasted, nothing but wasted energy. Too much crime has been done, and we have no other choice but to clean up. This is the problem. This is where you understand how to use it to not to be abused, because my job is very much like Muhammad bless his name. He saw how believing in the Creator without a statue has brought people who can live independent. Went back to Mecca and destroyed all the statues, that people would not believe in the statues anymore, but believe in what he called the God. That's what they did. My job is more or less the same. Son, the same as the Father. I have to destroy the statues made in the name of God. Now, by you abusing the emotion of the man in the name of the mosques and churches and other places of worship, where people now goes in education, understanding a level higher to understand the Creator itself and not in the angels of death. Now, in space, there shall be no churches, and there shall be no mosques, there shall be no temples. Because in space, your soul stands to be the temple of the truth on its own. This is the change. This is where you have to destroy the false castles of the worship which has been made. They've done nothing else. They took, as I said, they took where they took the physicality in Colosseum, and they took the soul of the man in Vatican to slavery. They did the same thing in time of Muhammad. They took the physicality, which was the statues, to non-physical dimension, but they start abusing it again because now it was something nobody could see. So now the man is wise. Man has to understand he is himself, the prophet of himself, to more or less conduct correctly. In a space, when you see the two fingers, you look at it, which way it stands, the three fingers, which way it stands. Am I giving? Am I short? I need some of it myself. I can't give you, because if I give you, I will not exist. The marriage of souls in the space is like joining in a cup where you put the zinc and copper together. They work as one. You got to learn one thing, not to become too slave to the knowledge or the abuse of the knowledge, but become a slave to peace and equality. Then you find out everything changes. We have no choice. When we came and we went through the banishment from Iran and then Belgium to Italy, and everybody in so many ways, I always said these souls are here to serve us, does not matter what hardship we go through. Because with it, they showed the people who operated in background to do their job. Now you see the bosses, you see the abusers. There is a lot of move in Vatican to stop the Keshe Foundation. Huge amount of effort is spent in there. Huge amount of effort has spent in different names. At this moment of time, we have communications we can show. The Jews, which they don't exist anymore, but in Israel, the Vatican, the Islamic world, and now they're trying to reach the Chinese community to blacklist a man who teaches the science and the peace of the world. Because they are fear of their own hand now is opened up. If I do what you do, I blacklist the man from the universe, but that's not my job. President Obama, you made a very big mistake with the American government to put me on the blacklist. The black is the color of your skin. The soul is clear. Any question?
Mr. Kesh, this is Azad from New York.
Yes, Azad.
Good morning. I have a question. When you said there's no more Jews, what does it mean? It means all the Jewish people are bad, or they're...
Anyone who murders, anyone who creates, or what you call, does a crime is a Jew. Does not matter what nationality, what name. This means the behavior of Moses. Nothing but criminality, crime, and killing. That's what it says. That's what it means. Because that's what the Moses did. Read it through. It's in Torah. I don't need to teach you. Don't read the front, read the depth of the knowledge. When my great aunt died in Tel Aviv some years ago, my uncle paid a lot of money to write the Torah, handwritten Torah, in her name. I asked my uncle, why did you spend so much? In his own simple way, he said to me, somebody will read it and will understand the Creator. But the same book now understands the true work of what it meant and what has been done. Moses created a lot of mayhem, a lot of pain, a lot of murder. And we see the same with those who call themselves the same thing. So blood has been passed on, and that's why I said no one will call himself that name, because it's related to death, to criminality, to abuse. And which soul would like, who likes to say I'm a murderer, who likes to say I'm an abuser, who likes to say I create and commit crime? So now see who would like to call himself a Jew. So we change the name to a murderer and see who likes to call him, because you see the behavior now. The child of 5-year-old on one side of the world they built is dying for medicine. Am I lost?
No, it's okay, but it just
Moves.
change.
And then on the other side of the wall, on the Israeli side, the most advanced hospitals are in operation. The crime is not the wall, the crime is the blood which has created that division. This is where the problem, this is where the continuously the same process goes. I'm not anti, what you call Jews, or not anti-Palestinians. I'm there to support the both. And I've done this all my business life. I stood heavily for Palestinians for years, even when I was in business, because I could see the wrong done by my cousins on the other side of the world. And I explained to them many times, what is getting done is not right, but you're still carrying on because abuse is part of the culture. You know, in a family when the father is a doctor, he brings up a child as a doctor to serve. In the criminal world, when you see the gangsters, the children go in the same path, because that's the only thing they see themselves to be a hierarchy of. And the same has been done by the blood of Moses. So he killed and they kill and they see as their right to kill. He robbed different tribes for their wealth and their women. And we see the same thing with Rothschilds and the rest. They're killing humanity. So we take the soul out of those who taught them the wrong way. And they carried on with abuse. And as you said last week, I showed you very simply. Now you understand the position of the finger. Those who stood and taught and tolerated the wrongdoing of these people, now they're sent back home with their souls. They have no support. These people could run and abuse man as long as there was somebody in the background telling them how to do it, which came from the universal community, and they enjoyed to see how man plays. Now they're gone, they have no background. We've taken the legs out of them. You will see they crumble in a very, very rapid way. When you send and you have the souls like Brennan and the Philippine Cash Foundation who are prepared to go knowing that there is a conflict between the nation and China to serve the Chinese, this is a pure soul, irrespective. And with it, because it's pure, it brings love and unity and peace. You see people like Professor Xu in the background, they are doing a lot of work in different levels. You see people like Arman and the others. There is a lot of very, very few I cannot say more than 50 souls who are sitting in the center point of the Keshe Foundation are carrying the humanity in a very rapid way. These souls have been chosen. What they do wrong themselves, they correct it in time. But we don't let what you call Illuminatis or others to come with pride. They say, we told you we are, and now we are there to abuse you. Is something wrong? We take the soul of God from you. And then you see when you don't receive, you're not elevated. This is how simple it is. Proud to be abuser. So you be proud amongst the thieves. You are the king of the thieves, and you're not accepted by the rest because you take from the effort of the others. And when you are put out right, you claim all sorts of things. Don't forget, we walk you into traps of your own soul, as we've done in the past few weeks. Now, I told you I finished with teaching. I finished with teaching of the matter state, but my job in the teaching of the soul of the man has just started.
Mr. Keshe, when somebody commits so many crimes, you said the soul is going to be taken and can be divided to 1,000 souls and put back in 1,000 bodies. So if they come back to Earth and they're supposed to suffer, and imagine they put some place in a town or a village or a country, and someone goes there who has a good personality and good true heart and help those souls, does that person make a mistake helping those people?
Understand what I said about the cesium and iodine, about division of how much you want to give and how what you give affects the others. Understand as a principle, as a center, doesn't matter how much you give, it's a drop in the ocean, so you can give a lot to the others in the physical matter, which is much lower. Azar, I would like you to explain to us, you talk a lot about the pain. We had you a few times on. Why you felt the pain? Would you like to share with us? Because then man understands why you are even here.
What was the question? Why do I have pain?
Yes, you talk about the pain all the time. Because you felt it, you understood it.
You see, I was in prison when I was pregnant with my daughter back home in Iran. And then, so I was very young.
Would you, if you don't mind, can I ask you a question? Why were you in prison?
Because after Khomeini came to power, we didn't like when they closed the universities, and we went for demonstration, and I used to sit down and copy flyers, write down flyers with my hand, and after midnight we would go with motorcycle and drop it in people's home to bring awareness to people they shouldn't close the universities and we should have the universities open. And that was my kind of work I was doing, and a couple of other people. We was a group, and then I used to give my home for group study with different people, let them use my home. And at that point I was married and was pregnant, and one night they came to our home and they blindfolded me and arrested us, both myself and my husband, my ex-husband, and they took us to prison. And I was there for 3 months, and I was physically and emotionally, actually they blindfolded me and put me against the wall. And they told me they're gonna kill me if I don't give the name of people that they work with me, especially my uncle. And they put me against the wall with the blindfold and they shoot around me, but I didn't know if they're gonna shoot around me. I thought they're gonna kill me. So they did it a couple of times to me. So maybe that was the impact on me.
So You have felt what I felt in the hand of the Canadians. They told me every day they're going to shoot me in the head if anybody knows I'm there. So we are enslaved by the same masters in physical life.
Yes, and then when I came here, I had to go through a lot of hardship to get where I got, and it still is not over.
Can you explain to us how you came out of Iran?
When my daughter was 7 months old, we sold everything we had, and we paid someone to get us a fake passport. And since my ex-husband had left already, I had to live with my daughter. And there were about 14 other boys who were about 16 and 17, and they were fleeing Iran because of the Iraq war. And we walked from the border of Iran and Turkey 5 days until we got to the border of Turkey, and I ended up in Istanbul.
You're a dentist in New York.
Yes.
Long journey.
Yes. Mr. Cash, what I like to say is this, a state of mind, because I know I can talk about myself, because when I hear people talk about my child and my children, I never understood why everybody talks about my children and only want to have things for their own children. To me, every time I look at a child, I could pick that child, and my feeling for that child, I feel they are my own child too, because I don't see any difference. But it's so much is different from people to people. Some people have the essence of it, and some people don't. And I never blame other people for not having that essence. That we are all the same. We are like a cell. We are made of billions of cells in our body, and each of us is a cell of a bigger body, but we don't understand it.
Can you
Okay.
forgive the people who created this life for you in Iran?
Can I forgive them? I already forgave them. I always forgive people for whatever they do to me, because I never want to hold anything on my shoulder when I leave this world. Actually, what they did to me made me who I am.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Mr. Cash. Mr. Cash, I have another question. This is about real matter, and we have a magnetic field. So also at the same time, we have something called principal matter. Principal matter, we also have it, but we have never accessed it. Principal matter is like a switch light, main switch light in a house, that if we can reach to that principal matter, there is branches of it. Other branches are like a state of matter now. So I can go to principal matter, and from there, I can go to any other branches I want. Like I can go to moon.
Good morning, Azhar. You understood.
I understood?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Azhar is part of the medical teaching, or what do you call it, development of the medical application of the Keshe Foundation. She participates in the medical teaching. If you're a doctor, you can join us in Doctors at Keshe Foundation. We have a good news for you. I'm sitting next to Giovanni. Hopefully next week or two, most of the application of the Keshe Foundation will be tested in hospitals And all the technologies of the Keshe Foundation hopefully will be certified. And as it's getting certified in one nation, we will see it done. It'll be done independently by doctors in the hospital. And we will see the change where not only we become the scientists of the physicality and change in physical life and emotion. With the teaching of today, we can teach the present doctors to the next level, that how they reach the soul of their patients. And then they can truly give to them, and then the physicality will change. It is very interesting how we get tested. It's very interesting to see how we fail the test, and from it, if we don't, we get tested again till we pass. And if you don't pass, you will not mature. Because with failing, you find out where your weakness is and what you haven't understood. I had the same situation as Azar for some years ago. They put me into 11 days of incarceration, and every day they told me they're going to shoot me in the head if anybody knows I'm there. And then they returned me back in the hand of the same abusers who then they bombed us, and now they killed Fabio. They are used to it. And in time, they come and see you. They lie, they took you to a place they've never been, because now when they start lying, we see the weak points. We push till we find out the weakness of the soul. It is very interesting how these abusers justify their abuse and a continuation of their abuse, because now the reality shows. It is very interesting how we let them play the game, and we play the game they have always played till we show the way they played that they can literally walk themselves into a trap of their own life. You do not understand when Azar tells you they put you against the wall and they tell you they're going to shoot you. You become the soul of yourself and the judge of yourself. What you've done right, what you've done wrong. In seconds, your whole life goes through you. And then in that process, you mature because you understand where the weakness was or what you have to do. It is very, 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 very interesting. At the moment, we have a huge problem with a man called Obama. He has blacklisted the foundation because he only sees black on the skin of his physicality. Where a technology and a knowledge like this has to become the shining light for humanity. In time, his souls will get the same position, but they will not shine. We should be free to teach, to elevate the soul of the man. And the man who calls himself the most powerful man on this planet, which is actually the weakest, the most bankrupt, takes the physicality of his skin to the color of the most advanced technology for savior of the man. We need to understand the knowledge has to be to the benefit of humanity, to elevate all, not for some to carry on with their abuse. It'll be very interesting, very, very interesting how we bring the technology as a peaceful technology and the way we see the collaboration and cooperation. We use the language of peace and we use the language of science to create peace. And this is what should be the ethos of every Keshe Foundation follower or listener. We don't promote war, we promote peace, that with it man forgets wars. And this is what you got to do. Find the strength of the soul and elevate the soul. As I said in a single word, I forgive them. That's all it is, which means I elevate them. They cannot take more than what I already given. Any other question?
Yes, Mr. Keshe, Professor Zhu has a question and has some other of his associates have questions as well, I believe.
Go ahead, please, Professor Zhu.
Hi, Mr. Keshe. I have a few questions collected from the Lord Seekers of China. So the first one is about they're asking about the composition of the gases in the plasma glasses you showed right now. Okay, and actually, would like to ask you, would you one day present the blueprints of these plasma glasses?
Plasma what?
Glasses.
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 We taught this a few weeks ago, and so the knowledge seeker has built it.
Okay, I see.
It is, you have to go into all it is, you have to understand what you want to see and what strength. Here, you can make a glass with what's on the board now, with the zinc, with the CH3, with the CO2, NOCH, and then see the emotion of yourself or your child. If the child says, I'm in pain, but is actually playing a trick to get your attention, you will see it. You understand? So, you
for example,
the water of the gans, of the...
since we never get the opportunity to use the glasses, what are you supposed to see? So I was curious about that.
You see the emotion and you feel it. There is no need for talking. You
can get a feeling, right?
Yes, you see the emotion. You see, if you want to see it with the physical eye, you will see. If you're after looking at the physicality on the dimension of the man, you use a copper. If you're dealing from a planet in the entity from planet, let's say Zeus, which uses, let's say, nickel as a base physicality, you change that copper to zinc, to nickel. Then you see the physicality. If you want to see the emotion of the entity in the universe, where his emotion is on, let's say, gold or silver, you add the strength of the silver into the composition. Then you see the emotion. If he's talking truth or lies, the man emotion sits on the zinc. So the rest is very easy.
So someone was asking whether we can see the universal living other species by use of these glasses.
Of course, that's why we taught it.
Okay, very good.
You
okay,
have the right composition.
Okay, next question: how to transform the anxiety emotion into the peaceful emotion?
You have to understand the strength of it. You got to start playing to see what elevates. What is peace? Peace is when you see no changes in any of the emotion, no hardship, no, as you call it, frequencies, no strength in pain, no strength in sadness, which means the balance, and that is the condition of peace. It'll take a man, all of the Keshe Foundation and other scientists will start developing these. We know this is the state of peace. A man who's happy, content, creates this field. And this is the field where we should look for peaceful emotion. And then you deliver this across the planet. Even hunger has a strength. If you can satisfy the emotion of the hunger, man shall not go hungry to kill him. He only receives what he needs.
Okay, thank you. Next question is, so what can be the food GANs used for? What's the difference between the food GANs and the amino acid GANs?
A big difference. The food GANs is the composition of other entities with the amino acid which fits them. The amino acid which is the human is the one which can link up at the strength with the plasma of the iron. So it's a big difference. Those, as I said, we call all of them amino acid. But as there are so many plants and trees on this planet, there are so many different kind of amino acids because different strengths gather with each other in different position, different space. So that which is of the strength, which iron, which can lead to creation of hemoglobin, then it creates the first step of the interaction. Then you have a radioactive material next to it, which is a cobalt, which allows it, gives it so much energy that it can divide itself. Now you create life.
So,
And
and
that's the same step.
okay, thank you. The next question is how to let the soul of the oneself to communicate with the higher self, the soul of the higher self,
The head of soul of what?
higher self,
Higher.
higher self. So you have higher self.
Yeah, but the Professor Zhu, they
Yeah.
should have understood that it's only higher strength. You have to go to more inner strength, because we all have the same inner structure. Doesn't matter what you are in the universe.
Okay.
It's very much like what you see on the board with the zinc and copper. If you go to the higher level of zinc and copper, at the same time, you have more intense emotion in respect to the physicality. So you can go in the same way in the soul. You can, it's everything is within you. It's you who has to find out in what level you want to operate and you're comfortable with, where there is a peace in respect to the other things around. Man will learn
Okay.
this very quickly in a very short time.
Okay, the next question is, so what are the difference between the gas water and the gas water vapor?
Nothing is a separation of the more freedom for
More
the
freedom.
more freedom of the plasma.
Okay, so okay, let me ask you your last question. So I don't want to take too much time from
We have
China
all
side.
day. We have all day, Professor Shua. It's no problem.
Okay, so was the soul produced by the brain, the functional brain? Was the soul the produce of the brain, such as our thought and the mind? So I don't know this question. Okay, so actually someone was asking whether our soul was produced by our brain.
No, our soul comes from the physical interaction of the fields, which themselves they become in totality of the higher order. The higher order, when the higher order comes together, then it takes over the rest, and this is what happens when your soul is created.
Or
It comes
okay,
from the physicality.
let put it another way. Maybe the question was just in opposite. Whether our soul get created first, then we get our brain and body.
In a way, that's what it does. It's your soul which, once is brought together, dictates the physicality.
But what? But once the soul being created, is it mortal or immortal?
The soul is immortal.
So once produced, you can have
It's
it forever.
immortal. Let me clarify it very clearly. It's immortal in respect to the strength of the field of the physicality, but not in respect to the others.
Okay, I mean for those souls from the black force, if they refuse to cooperate with the light force, so their soul can be destroyed, right?
Rephrase it. If you rephrase it, what you call black, we call it of the highest strength in gravitation, which means taking. When you talk about a white is as a giving, yes, because don't forget you give more than you receive, and then you receive more than what you give. So then you change the fields of what it receives, then the interaction will change what you give. Because once you start receiving of different strength, you can only emit of a different strength.
Okay, so
We had a very interesting test on recently, where the tester could feel the choking that the system was taking energy from, very much suffocating effect, which means the gravitation is more than what I would like to give. And the writing was very nice. I switched the system off, which means I can't handle it. I cannot give what I didn't want, and it's want to take what I'm not prepared to give. But if you bring balance with the different structure between what given and what it can be taken, then you end up with physicality.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a major question so far. So
You
maybe
see,
yeah.
you speak in that way because in the Chinese culture you live through yin and yang. Because in the West, most of these makes not much sense. But as the Chinese culture is close to both the soul and the physicality, understand this very easy.
Okay, I myself got a question. Could you please comment on the soul of the people of different colors?
People of different colors?
Yes. So what's the type of the characteristics or the features they may have, which means could be distinguished from each other?
It's very much like different isotopes of the copper or isotopes of zinc. It is what they want to interact with their environment in respect to what they are and who they are. You can be born, if you change the soul, very rapidly. I'm sure a lot of you are going to see it. You will find you were black today and you'll be white tomorrow, and the white today and black tomorrow. Because this shows a lot of people don't understand this. You see, a lot of people have a combination skin or patches in their skin. If you reach their souls, they change the color of the skin in no time. Because through it, they want to manifest different things.
Interesting. So, okay. Okay, as a mainstream scientist, I would like to ask you, what do you foresee the current scientific system could be positioned in the near future?
What do you mean?
So where they can go? So what is as our mainstream scientists, what we can do in the near future? So we have to.
We will walk away from matter state and plasma. And very, very rapidly, because of the easiness of using fields, we'll develop new technology, new understanding according to interaction of the fields, knowing that the interaction of the fields will lead to the physicality. So with the science, you're a medical doctor, and so you will not deal with your patient. I know you don't practice medicine, but as a medical doctor, you don't deal with your patient that what is wrong with the leg or where the pain is. You go to the soul of the man and you see why it shows itself in such a position. No man will die of cancer in the space. Yesterday, Giovanni and I were sitting in front of a doctor, and I said, I teach you a way that you can amputate and you see the finger and the toe to grow. He said, how is it possible? I said, only costs 10 cents. Because I have to go to the soul of the man to see if he sees the loss of a finger as a way that he receives what he needs, or the having a finger, it gives him the totality that he doesn't need to take from nobody to get attention. And then you find out the finger will grow in no time.
Okay. Okay. Also, get a question. So nowadays we to the education system we spend 10-20 years to study many stuff, right? So what would happen in the future? Whether we can get accelerate the learning process so we can shorten our education period.
I have brought millions of men in less than 2 years to be the plasma physicists, better than the top physicists and the plasma physicists of the world. Education does not need time, it needs understanding. If you can make them understand, it doesn't need, we don't need to learn about the history of a man, how he destroyed the other thing. We're learning about the creation of the soul. Now that we start teaching it this way, man will see everything himself. He doesn't need to read it. We do not need to go to